Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Here.
Pauls.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Festerson.
Here.
Gurnett.
Here.
Mr. President.
Here. With everyone, before we begin, we're running a little late for those who are watching in television land. We're running a little late because we had a Board of Equalization meeting that ran a little long. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's just pray today for a really good meeting, and hopefully we'll get things done in an orderly and timely fashion. Amen. Amen. I should have said that.
An affidavit of publication is on file for the pre-council and city council meeting, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the, did you finish the? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Omaha City Council. The council thanks you for joining us today. For those, as a courtesy to those in attendance, we would ask you to turn off or mute any of your electronic devices. Madam Clerk.
Item 5, a resolution to approve a preliminary plat for Sagewood Village, lots 1 through 147, outlets A through G, located southwest of 180th and 4th Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 5 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Mark Johnson. Address is 114 Fort Center Road. I'm appearing today on behalf of the applicant, Celebrity Homes, and I'm here just to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move the approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve item 5. No lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 5 approved, 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda items 6 through 10 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda item 11 shall be laid over 2 weeks. Item 12, a resolution to approve a special use permit application submitted by Mike Welniak for a large project special use permit in a GI General Industrial District for property located at 11634 I Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on agenda item number 12 is today. Proponents, please.
Mike Welniak.
Address, please.
15803 Pacific Street, Omaha, Nebraska.
And you're the owner, and you're here to answer any questions, right?
Yes, that's
okay,
correct.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Paul.
Yes, could I have you come? Just have would you sort of describe what this operation is going to be?
It's a mini storage facility. It was a mini storage facility before, and kind of tore down the old buildings and turned around and making it into a new facility.
Okay, Mike. And it's located, I know where it's located, but what are some of the surrounding buildings?
There's industrial buildings to the east, and then up further east there's more industrial buildings. To the west there's Battle Rock College, the old Battle Rock College, for sale now. Okay. But it's all pretty much an industrial area.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what I just wanted to make sure. I appreciate that it's being located in an area which I think is appropriate for a unit such as what you want to go ahead with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve item 12. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 12 approved, 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7E, agenda item 13 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Item 14, an application to approve a Class C liquor license for Quarter LLC, DBA Mode de Vie, 120 Regency Parkway, Suite 124.
Public hearing on agenda item number 14 is today. Proponents, please.
Mr. President, members of the council, Mike Kelly, 7134 Pacific. I'm here with Justin Halbert and Aaron Halbert. the owners. This is another exciting project out in Regency area, and it's a restaurant. They're here for any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move the approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve item 14. No lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. Item 14 approved. Item 15, an application to approve a Class I liquor license for Viz Major Brewing Holding Company, LLC, DBA Viz Major Brewing, 3501 Center Street.
Public hearing on agenda item number 15 is today. Proponents, please.
Mr. President, again, Mike Kelly, 7134 Pacific. I'm here with Lindsay and Thomas Clements. You'll recall this was the brew pub we put in last time, and it had some neighborhood opposition, which surprised us, but I think that's worked out, I hope. And but they also made a decision kind of late in the process. They want at least to be able to offer other drinks besides beer. So that's all this is. Nothing, I said last time, changes at all. But they just want to be able to have an eye so that somebody says, I don't drink beer and I'd like a cocktail, you think you can do that.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. President. I must say, as I drive by that building, what they have done to it, that part of town, it's a jewel. I mean, I'm really impressed, because I thought that building,
Especially when you know who the representative from there.
yeah, that's, I thought I'd say one good thing about it. Thank you.
This motion is moved. Is there a second? It's moved and seconded to approve. Mr. Gurnett.
I just want to get to the record that I knew one of the previous owners, the Clanton family, and I think they'd be very proud of what's been done to that facility.
Grocery store.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve item 15. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 15 approved, 7-0. Items 16 through 21 all relate to the same company. Applications to approve Class D package liquor licenses for the following locations. Number 16, Ohio Fantasies, 2540 North 90th Street. Number 17, Southwest Fantasies, 14330 Hillsdale Avenue. Number 18, West Maple Fantasies, 3725 North 147th Street. 19, Ridgeway Fantasies, 18280 Wright Street. 20, Village Point Fantasies, 250 North 168th Circle. 21, Whispering Ridge Fantasies, 16960 Evans Plaza.
Public hearing on agenda items numbers 16 through 21 are today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon, Mike Schromick, 16515 Pierce Street, appearing here on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Moved and seconded to approve items 16 through 21. There are no lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 16 through 21 approved, 7-0. Item 22, an application to approve a change of location request for La Esmeralda Inc., DBA Taqueria La Esmeralda, for their Class A liquor license from 3215 Q Street to 3219 Q Street.
Public hearing on agenda item number 22 is today. Proponents, please.
My name is Sam Gomez. My address is 3215 Q Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68107. I'm the owner.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Mr. Gurnett.
Thank you, Mr. President. This morning at pre-council, I mentioned why this came about, and for this record, so everybody's clear that watching on this change of location, there was when moved the establishment from one side of the building to the other side of the building, forgot to change the address on the particular license. When the owner of the place realized that he had made a mistake, he immediately came down and started the process to rectify the error that he made. He's already been to the Liquor Control Commission in Lincoln. He knows what he has to do from there, and this is the start of the process to right the wrong, and then he'll be back later on down the road for his package license. But this is the start of the process. But I want to thank Mr. Gomez and Mr. Brodsky for saying, hey, made a mistake, I want to make it right. And I think that was also said at the time at the Liquor Control Commission, that not too many people that make a mistake come down and admit it, and they want to correct it. So I'd make a motion to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve item 22. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 22 approved, 7-0. Item 23, a request to approve a manager application for Matthew J. Daughtery for Atches 5 LLC, DBA Varsity Sports Bar and Roman Coin Pizza, 4900 Dodge Street for their Class C liquor license.
Public hearing on agenda item number 23 is today. Proponents, please.
Thank you and good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Matthew D. Hamus. I'm appearing on behalf of the applicant, Matthew J. Daugherty, and Atches 5 LLC, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson.
Thanks, Mr. President. So no Matt today, but it looks like Matt's gone big time and has attorneys representing him now on these issues. That's good.
Yes, sir.
I think we're all familiar with Matt. He was on the ground floor here, did a great job with the renovation of this building, has his office building here, and was a fortuitous investment, I think, now that we have apartments across the street and the film stream's happening, and look forward to seeing this node really take off. So I'm supportive of this today and would move approval.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moved and seconded to approve item 23. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 23 approved, 7-0. Item 24, request to approve a special designated liquor license for Roja LLC, DBA Roja Mexican Grill and Margarita Bar, 17010 Wright Plaza, number 100, for Beer Garden on May 5th, 2017, from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. with music until 1 a.m. and outdoor area open until 2 a.m.
Public hearing on agenda item number 24 is today. Proponents, please.
Hi there, I'm Patrick Lynch. Address is 13030 Larimore Circle. General Manager at Roja Mexican Grill, here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Been moved and seconded to approve item 24. No lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 24 approved, 7-0.
Thank you.
Item 25, a request to approve a special designated liquor license for BH Ventures LLC, DBA The Diamond Room, for a wedding ceremony reception on October 28th, 2017, from 6:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. with music until 1 a.m.
Public hearing on agenda item number 25 is today. Proponents, please.
Hi, I'm Teresa Beck, 9134 Granville Parkway, La Vista. I am the owner of BH Ventures LLC Diamond Room, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Second, roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 25 approved, 7-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearing on agenda items numbers 26 through 33 were held on March 28th, 2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. No lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 26 through 33 approved, 7-0.
The public hearing on agenda items numbers 34 through 61 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or an opponent.
Susan Thompson, 1282 South 164th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. The item is number 34, and it's approving the SID, and I think specifically addressing the frontage calculations. I am a proponent, but reading through the PDF file that accompanies the paperwork, I noticed that I think there is an error that's been made in the list of signees, and there are people on that set that were the original part of consensus, and there are a few signees who are not. So I don't know whether I'm nitpicking but it's not a correct list. So now on March 28th, we came down and we approved the SID. And at the same time, there was a worksheet that was part of that setup. I don't know if this is on or not.
It'll come on.
It will, thanks.
Yes.
Okay. This is the correct set of consensus that signed off on the SID. And it's very precise. It shows all the people who were in favour and those who withdrew from that. So if you could take that instead of that set of petitions today, that would work. Well, the other thing that is, I don't understand this total footage, the percentage manipulation of the calculation. If someone would set me straight on what that means. As a simple layman, I would just say the total footage to the project is 1,737. Why do we have the 50% of footage of the project, and then total footage petitioned, etc., etc.? So if someone would just set me straight on that, I would really appreciate that.
If you'd like that made a part of the record, you have to hand it to
Yes, sure. This is the list of the signees, and this is the correct one.
Okay. And you had a question about, your question was about?
The percentage, the footage. Oh, it's about the percentage footage. There are there are a bunch of calculations in there, which I simply don't understand, and several people on the street also mentioned they don't understand it either.
Yeah.
It would probably be a PWD.
We'll get to you in a minute. Let me check and see. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Mr. Jerem.
Yes, as I understand what we're doing today is if this were to pass, this would trigger the 30-day protest period. So there's plenty of time, I think, to work through the questions that you asked. I don't know if there's anyone still here yet today, but I can have our Chief of Staff get your contact information and have Heather Tippy Pierce reach out to you. Thanks.
No further lights. Is there a motion? Moved and seconded to approve items, consent agenda items, resolutions. No further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls. Yes. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Items 34 through 61 approved, 7-0. Item 62, a special ordinance to levy a special tax assessment for litter removal on certain lots in the city of Omaha, group number 2017-07. A is an amendment.
Public hearing was held on 3/28/17.
Move the amendment.
Second.
Moved and seconded to move the amendment. No further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Amendment approved, 7-0.
Second. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 62 approved as amended, 7-0. Item 63, a special ordinance to levy a special tax assessment for cutting and clearing weeds, grass, and worthless vegetation on certain lots in the city of Omaha, group number 2017-08. A is an amendment.
Public hearing on agenda item number 63 was held on 3/28/17.
Move the amendment.
Second.
Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson. Gurnett. Mr. President.
Yes.
Amendment approved, 7-0.
As amended.
Second. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson. Gurnett. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 63 approved as amended, 7-0. Item 64, a special ordinance to levy a special tax assessment for litter removal on certain lots in the city of Omaha, group number 2017-09. A is an amendment.
Public hearing on agenda item number 64 was held on 3/28/17. Second. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson. Gurnett. Mr. President.
Yes.
Amendment approved, 7-0.
As amended.
Second. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson. Gurnett. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 64 approved as amended, 7-0. Item 65, a resolution to approve the Blackstone Knoll Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Plan located at the southwest corner of 39th and Farnham Streets.
Public hearing on agenda item number 65 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon. Bridget Hadley, City Planning. Before you is the Blackstone Knoll TIF project, and it's highlighted in yellow in the Blackstone area. To the north is, this is the north direction, this is Farnham, Harney, 39th Street, 40th Street here. This particular project, vetted by our TIF committee and our planning staff to comply with the TIF, continues revitalization and redevelopment efforts in the Blackstone area. Here is a final rendering of a preliminary rendering of the final building, 2-story new construction at this particular site. Let's see if I have another. This is just a site plan. As you can see, this is 39th, so it will completely fill this vacant space. The existing apartment building behind it remains. So this will continue to fill in the spaces along the Farnham Street within the Blackstone area. It will involve $325,000 in TIF. It is about a little over $2.2 million TIF project. It will generate about 24 FTEs. In addition to that, about 10 part-time jobs. So again, helping to support the commercial efforts in that particular area. Also, this project we have asked for a $15,000 contribution of the TIF that would help with the two-way street conversion, which a lot of those obligations have been paid off. The Blackstone Business District had an obligation. These contributions have helped to reduce some of those obligations. They had a remaining approximately 15 or a little less than 15,000. This particular contribution from this project will pay off the BID's, the Blackstone BID's remaining obligation. So that would take care of the BID and allow them to do more things within their proposal. So with that, I would ask for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard?
Matt Dwyer, Green Slate Development, 3814 Farnham Street. So just here to answer any questions, but mainly say thanks for the continued support and for allowing the contribution here to be allocated towards that BID commitment to pay off the two-way. That's a big deal for us and will allow us to spend more money downstream in the district. So, and also those of you that are not seeking re-election here, thanks for all your support over the years and best wishes, obviously. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Jerem.
Mr. Dwyer, with this project, the momentum just keeps on rolling in Blackstone, and I just was curious in a couple things. Are we now over 200 new jobs since the beginning? Or
yeah, I think we clock it closer to 250. You know, I mean, it's hard to tell exactly, you know, because we don't get a employment count from everybody, but right. For all the people that are in buildings that we have developed, you know, there's been other stuff that's been done that we don't control, but I think we'd estimate closer to 250.
So if there were, in my view, if there were a case study in the positive role that tax increment financing can have, that business improvement districts can have in spurring development, and a public-private partnership where the city, together with the private businesses and property owners, went together. It's hard to find a better one. There are good ones, all due respect to my colleague here to the left. But you are a large part of that with your partner and Mr. Lund, and I want to thank you for that and congratulate you. And so if people hear me now saying approaching 250 new jobs in just a few years, that's really a remarkable story. And just on my personal behalf and behalf of my other colleagues, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and thanks to, again, everybody, and Bridget, and, everybody at the city, because it's this stuff can get stopped a lot of places along the way, so everybody has to believe in this. And although I shouldn't be on a poster, I often say we're the poster children for TIF, because Blackstone truly would not exist but for TIF. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No further lights. Is there a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve item 65. No lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton. Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 65 approved, 7-0. Item 66, a resolution to approve the NICO Building Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Plan located at 3024 Harney Street.
Public hearing on agenda item number 66 is today. Proponents, please.
Afternoon again. Bridget Hadley, City Planning. We've tried to use the word NICO building instead to kind of get away from a certain person in the community. But this particular building, the National Indemnity Company building, outlined here in blue at the corner of Turner Park Boulevard and Harney Street. Right here where I'm pointing is the Midtown Crossing, Turner Park. This particular project is an opportunity to take a building that was in the path of maybe being demolished. There were some thoughts about maybe not keeping the building, and Todd Heasted of New Style stepped in to say, let's preserve this building. It has some historic character in the community. So it's going to become an adaptive reuse of an older historic or an older office building and convert it into 48 apartment units. This is what it actually looks like, at least a side angle looking at that building. Todd is looking at, or the development team is looking at maybe a historic designation so that he can pursue state and federal historic tax credits. This project, again, 48 apartment units, market rate, mix of studios, ones and twos, mostly one-bedroom units. It will involve about 1.1 million, a little over 1.1 million in TIF. Estimated total project cost of $8.14 million, and there will be some basic streetscaping that will take place, and then I think that is all I want to say about this particular project. It's just basically preserving an older historic, possible historic building in the community and providing more housing. And I believe Todd was going to be on his way, but with that, I would ask for your approval.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Pauls.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just curious. Is it historic value? How old is that building?
It? Perfect. Perfect timing. I want to say it was built in the 1952.
And that allows it to be historic? I mean, I don't know. I just was curious. I mean, I drive by the building. It's a neat building.
Age doesn't always...
It has to be 50 years old.
It has to be 50 years old. I was somewhere where, at our planning board, and the clarification was age doesn't always mean it has historic character. It has to do with the architecture that really, that's a piece of it. You know, its use in architecture that maybe makes it more of gives it historic character to get the designation, but 50 years of age and older is the federal historic designation criteria.
So a few of us sitting up to the side could be classified as historic.
You're not a structure.
You're so good. Thank you. You're so good.
Thank you. There's a motion?
Prehistoric.
Been moved and seconded. You moved, you'll second? Okay.
That's
It's been
two.
moved and seconded to approve item 66. There are no further lights. Roll call.
Jerem. Melton. Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 66 approved, 7-0. Item 67, a resolution to consider the landing tax increment financing redevelopment project plan located southeast of 30th and Burt Streets.
Public hearing on agenda item number 67 is today. Proponents, please. This is the I'm going to hear it for a while, I know.
Bridget Hadley, City Planning again. So all these projects, TIF projects again, have been vetted by the planning staff and the TIF committee to comply with TIF. This particular project, as a lot of people are familiar with, it is shaded in blue, the entire site, but the actual TIF project itself is outlined in red, so that which will become the TIF project is the former Creighton University Medical Center. Some of us remember it as St. Joe's Hospital as well. This particular project is a major feat to be converted into 731 apartment units, market rate apartment units. Todd Hestead and his development team has been working with HDR, I believe I can say. There's been some charrettes with the Gifford Park neighborhood. I believe our council members have been a part of that to really take a bigger look at not just this particular site, but to the west of the site into the Gifford Park neighborhood, and also because of what OPS is doing in the neighborhood and with some things happening at the Creighton University campus. So this particular project is one piece of a major master plan that I will definitely let Todd Hestead talk more about, should he want to. But the project, again, is going to convert this particular hospital. Here's another angle or aerial. This is looking east at the front of the parking. There will be about 8 stories that will be converted into housing. If you can imagine, anyone who's been in the building, people will now be living there. It's going to be very exciting to see the transformation. What has been talked about with this particular project is a connecting bridge crossing over the interstate to connect it to, I believe this is California Plaza on Creighton's campus. And that connector will also allow for connection into the Gifford Park neighborhood. It will also involve, I think, I will use this. This is just a preliminary sketch of what is possible for a larger master plan. So this particular project will also involve a detention pond, which is not, and if you read the packet and read the application, I don't know if it may have implied that it was a part of the CSO project, but it is not a part of the CSO project. This detention pond is on private land, and it is designed to help relieve some of the sewer capacity pressure in the areas. So that's going to be very exciting to have that help on this particular property. And then also some of the major public improvements that will take place as a result of this project are improvements to North 30th Street, basically between Burt and Chicago Street. There's been discussions about a road diet, how that will look, maybe some parking, maybe taking out the median. So there's further discussion to be had on that, but those are some of the public improvements and what TIF will be used for. The project calls for about a little over $19.1 million in TIF. The estimated total project cost for this is running right now at about $108 million. There will be some jobs created, of course, through construction, but for a project like this, it's mostly construction and maybe a few jobs to help manage this particular site. In the future, this particular project, there will be some retail right in front of the building, but the project, again, is just the conversion of the hospital as well as some of the parking that will help. There's a parking structure right here that will provide parking for the tenants as well as parking underneath the building. With that, I will step aside, ask for your approval, and then step aside in case Todd would like to share more about the project.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard?
Thank you. Todd Easton with New Style Development,
We're gonna get you
2222
up
Dodge
here.
Street. Yeah, so, and this has been an exciting project, and Councilman Jerem kind of walked me through the neighborhood with Gifford Park from day one, and it was a great improvement. I mean, it's amazing what they've had done around there, and since then we've had charrettes and meeting with all the neighborhood people, which there's a lot of people that have very vocal in this area, so it's great. It's been a great project. I'm here to answer any questions, and there's a lot of moving pieces of this, so we're still trying to figure out some of the pieces of the puzzle.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, are there any opponents who wish to be heard? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Second, no further lights, roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Councilmember Festerson passed due to a potential conflict of interest. Item 67 approved, 6-0. Item 68, a resolution to consider an agreement with Elkhorn Suburban Fire Protection District Number 2 for all matters between those entities growing out of the City of Omaha's annexation effective August 26, 2015.
Public hearing on agenda item number 68 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move the approval.
Moved and seconded to approve item 68. No further lights, roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 68 approved, 7-0. Item 69, an ordinance to create Street Improvement District Number 6882 for the purpose of improving South 79th Street from Shirley Street North to Woolworth Avenue and Shirley Street from South 78th Street to South 79th Street. Public hearing to be held on the third reading on April 18th, 2017. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7D, the public hearings on agenda items 70 through 71 shall be held on the third reading. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7C, the public hearings on agenda items 72 through 75 shall be held on the second reading.
Motion adjourned?
Yeah.
Oh, not yet.
In a preface to the motion to adjourn, I think I welcome the other colleagues to give a round of applause on job well done to our new clerk.
Oh, well done.
Motion to adjourn.
We moved and seconded to adjourn. I managed to say Madam Clerk this time, too. Been moved and seconded. No further lights. Roll call.
Jerem.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 3:02 p.m.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of